Now it's actually like, oh. Okay. I think what I may have to do this time around is do the full episode here only on TikTok and then upload the video to YouTube. Because I don't know what YouTube is doing. Typically it is a 1, 2, 3 process. I have my phone already there. I put my tablet right up underneath the phone. My tablet is streaming on YouTube, and then I am using my phone for the TikTok streets. Can we see this book? No. So let's mirror it so you can see it. Seed of the Soul. I'm just gonna jump in at this point, people. I'm gonna just jump in. We are on chapter 8, Intention. And here at the Super Tea Podcast Show, the tea here is a matcha tea. Concentrated, healthy green tea. And don't judge me for my battery, okay? Yeah. Just don't. Okay? I'm going to read this chapter. I'm going to give some commentary. Okay? I'm going to wish you to have a great week. And I'm hoping that I spark some... I'm here looking to see how many pages it is. It's a good amount. Hopefully I spark some inquiry and to spark something good inside of you, something for you to ponder and take along with you this wonderful week. And I'm going to just jump right in. Oh, this is my camera that thing is on. Sorry, I thought something was on the microphone. Intention. Chapter 8. Gary Zukav. Seed of the Soul. You are the product of the karma of your soul. The dispositions, attitudes that you were born with serve the learning of your soul. As your soul learns the lessons that it must learn to balance its energy, these characteristics become unnecessary and are replaced by others. This is how you grow. As you come to realize, for example, that anger leads nowhere, your anger begins to disappear. And you move on to a more integrated and mature orientation towards your experiences. What once angered you now brings forth different responses. Until you become aware of the effects of your anger, you continue to be an angry person. If you do not reach this awareness by the time you return home, your soul will continue this lesson through the experiences of another lifetime. It will incarnate another personality with aspects that are similar to your own. What is not learned in each lifetime is carried over into other lifetimes, along with new lessons that arise for the soul to learn. New karmic obligations that result from the responses of its personality to the situations that it encounters. The lessons that the soul has learned also are brought forward into other lifetimes, and this is how the soul evolves. Personalities mature in time, and the soul evolves in eternity. Your dispositions, aptitudes, and attitudes reflect your intentions. If you are angry, fearful, resentful, or vengeful, your intention is to keep people at a distance. The human emotion spectrum can be broken down into two basic elements: love and fear. Anger, resentment, and vengeance are expressions of fear, as are guilt, regret, embarrassment, shame, and sorrow. These are lower frequency currents of energy. They produce feelings of depletion, weakness, inability to cope, and exhaustion. The highest frequency current, the highest energy current, is love. It produces buoyancy, radiance, lightness, joy. Your intentions create the reality that you experience. Until you become aware of this, it happens unconsciously. Therefore, be mindful of what you project. That is the first step towards authentic power. You may seek companionship and warmth, for example, but if your unconscious intention is to keep people at a distance, the experiences of separation and pain will surface again and again and again until you come to understand that you yourself are creating them. Eventually, you will choose to create harmony and love. You will choose to draw to you the highest frequency currents that each situation has to offer. Eventually, you will come to understand that love heals everything, and love is all there is. This journey may take many lifetimes, but you will complete it. It is impossible not to complete it. It is not a question of if, but of when. Every situation that you create serves this purpose. Every experience that you encounter serves this purpose. The healing journey of the human soul through its incarnations into the physical arena is a process of cycles of creation. Karma, then personality, then intentions, plus energy creates the experiences and reactions, which creates the karma, which creates the personality and the intentions, and it just keeps on cycling. The karma of the soul determines the characteristics of the personality. It determines the physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual circumstances into which the personality is born. It determines the ways that the personality is prone to understand its experiences. It determines the intentions with which the personality will shape its reality. These intentions create the reality that provides the soul at each moment with the experiences that are necessary for the balancing of its energy. And the personality with the clearest choice between learning through wisdom or learning through doubt and fear. Through these intentions, the personality shapes the light that is flowing through it into the reality that is optimal for its growth, for the evolution of its soul. The reactions of the personality to the experiences that it has created creates more karma. Reactions express intentions. They determine the experiences that will be created next. And the reactions of the personality to those experiences create more karma, and so forth, until the soul releases that personality and body. When the soul returns to its home, what has been accumulated in that lifetime is assessed with the loving assistance of its teachers and guides. The new lessons that have emerged to be learned and the new karmic obligations that must be paid are seen. The experiences of the incarnation just completed are reviewed, and the fullness of understanding its mysteries are mysteries no more. Their causes, their reasons, their contribution to the evolution of the soul, and to the evolution of the souls with whom the soul shared its life are revealed. What has been balanced, what has been learned, brings the soul ever closer to its healing, to its integration and wholeness. If the soul sees that it is necessary, it will choose. Also, with the help of its teachers and guides, another incarnation. It will draw to itself the guides and the teachers that are appropriate to what it seeks to accomplish. It will consult with other souls, whose evolution, like its own, will be mutually served by interactions within the physical arena. Then it will undertake again the massive voluntary reduction of its energy, the infusion of its energy into matter, the calibration of its energy to an appropriate scale and range of frequencies. That is an incarnation into the learning environment of the Earth School, and the process begins again. The world, as we know it, has been built without a consciousness of soul. It has been built with the consciousness of the personality. Everything within this world we see reflects personality energy. We believe that what we can see and smell and touch and feel and taste is all there is to the world. We believe that we are not responsible for the consequences of our actions. We act as though we are not affected when we take and take and take. We strive for external power, and in that striving, create a destructive competition. The introduction of consciousness into the cycle process of creation through which the soul evolves permits the creation of a world that is built upon the consciousness of the soul. A world that reflects the values and perceptions and experiences of the soul. It allows you to bring the energy of your soul consciously into the physical environment. It allows the consciousness of the sacred to fuse with physical matter. The world in which we live has been created unconsciously by unconscious intentions. Every intention sets energy into motion, whether you are conscious of it or not. You create in each moment. Each word that you speak carries consciousness. More than that, carries intelligence, and therefore is an intention that shapes light. When you speak of marriage, for example, you invoke a particular consciousness, a particular energy. When two people marry, they become husband and wife. Husband means the master of a house, the head of a household, a manager. Wife means a woman who is joined to a man in marriage, a hostess of the house. Oh. Sometimes it means a woman of humble rank. The relationship between a husband and a wife is not equal. When two people marry and think and speak of themselves as husband and wife, they enter into these consciousnesses and intelligences. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting right there. That was something that I was not aware of. Like, I know that every word obviously has a definition and has an energy around it. But basically what this book is bringing to light and to my awareness is that not only does each construct, social construct such as marriage is a social construct, not only do the words and the terms have meaning and energy, it also has a consciousness to it, so to speak. So even though we have the ability, obviously, to define things for ourselves how we want to, when you're entering into something that is that's part of the social construct. So it's not just like, oh, I'm creating this for me within my own personal sacred union or my own personal relationship. No, if you were deciding to get married, you're entering into a consciousness and an intelligence of the word itself. It has its own definition, and the roles within that definition have their own definitions. So it's interesting. I have been married before. It was quite an experience. I will never forget standing in the justice of peace and the feeling in my spirit that was like, run. But I was very, very young, and I fought against that feeling, and I did not leave, and I should have left. And I know now that when you involve the justice of peace or any court for that matter, I mean, that's the court that's involved with marriages. You are involving a third entity into the union between you and your mate. I have no desire to do that, but I do have the desire for a sacred union, a happy, healthy, sacred union. And that is something, and a wedding, to celebrate us making the choice to come together. So those things I will do again in this lifetime. But in regards to marriage, court, justice of peace, getting involved between me and my sacred partner, hell to the no. No to the no, no to the no, to the no, to the no, 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 hell to the no. No, thank you. All right, let's get back to the book. Because my greens is on, and I smell them, and I'm ready to eat. I done got up, I had some coffee, I went and got some fresh air, I took out the trash, I cleaned up yesterday, so ain't nothing for me to clean up today. So yeah, after I finish this live right here, I'm gonna tend to my collard greens, and I'm gonna take a nap. I was ready to take a nap before I started, okay? because I was up dancing in the daggone thing and tired myself out. So, with that being said, let's hurry up and get through this. In other words, the archetypical structure of marriage can be thought of as a planet. Well, they gotta go deep into it. I just broke it down. They gonna break it down even more. When two souls marry, they fall into the orbit or gravitational field of this planet, which they're calling marriage. They're comparing and using that as a metaphor. And therefore, despite their own individual intentions, they take on the characteristics of this planet called marriage. They become part of the evolution of the structure itself through their own participation in a marriage. An archetype is a collective human idea. The archetype of marriage was designed to assist physical survival. When two people marry, they participate in an energy dynamic in which they merge their lives in order to help each other survive physically. The archetype of marriage is no longer functional. It's being replaced with a new archetype that is designed to assist spiritual growth. This is the archetype of spiritual or sacred partnership. Oh, suck it now. Suck it, suck it. Suck it, suck it. When I say something and then the divine confirms it later in the book, like, what? So, even though some people may think that my comment that I made, like, I don't know, 4 minutes ago, was like, oh, she don't want to get married. She's lawless. No, I just have evolved. And obviously, the archetype has evolved too, according to this book. And this book is not a new book. So I'm pretty sure that it has evolved even since the writing of this book, because evolution is a consistent process moving forward. Okay, let's get back to the book. The underlying premise of a spiritual partnership is a sacred commitment between the partners to assist each other's spiritual growth. Spiritual partners recognize their equality. Spiritual partners are able to distinguish personality from soul, and therefore they are able to discuss the dynamics between them, their interactions on a less emotionally bound ground than husbands and wives. That ground does not exist within the consciousness of marriage. It exists only within the consciousness of spiritual partnership, because spiritual partners are able to see clearly that there is indeed a deeper reason why they are together. And that reason has a great deal to do with the evolutions of their souls. Because spiritual or sacred partners can see from this perspective, they engage in a very different dynamic than do husbands and wives. The conscious evolution of the soul is not part of the structural dynamic of marriage. It does not exist within the evolution, because when the evolutionary archetype of marriage was created for our species, the dynamic of conscious spiritual growth was far too mature a concept to be included. What makes a spiritual or sacred partnership is that the souls within the partnership understand that they are together in a committed relationship, but the commitment is not to physical security. It is rather to be with each other's physical lives as they reflect spiritual consciousness. The bond between spiritual partners exists as real as it does in marriage, but for significantly different reasons. Spiritual partners are not together in order to quell each other's financial fears, or because they can produce a house in the suburbs and that entire conceptual framework. The understanding or consciousness that spiritual partners bring to their commitment is different, and therefore their commitment is dynamically different. The commitment of spiritual partners is to each other's spiritual growth, recognizing that that is what each of them is doing on the earth, and that everything serves that. Spiritual partners bond with an understanding that they are together because it is appropriate for their souls to grow together. They recognize that their growth may take them to the end of their days in this incarnation and beyond, or it may take them to 6 months. They cannot say that they will be together forever. The duration of their partnership is determined by how long it is appropriate for their evolution to be together. All of the vows that a human being can take cannot prevent the spiritual path from exploding through and breaking through those vows if the spirit must move on. It is appropriate for spiritual partners to remain together only as long as they grow together. Oh my goodness. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Spiritual partnership is a much freer and more spiritually accurate dynamic than marriage, because spiritual partners come together from a position of spirit and consciousness. How spiritual partners merge and move their concept of partnership is a matter of free will. So long as they recognize that they bring the consequences of their choices into their partnership and know the full extent of their choices, that is what influences the manner and direction that the partnership goes. Spiritual partners commit to a growing dynamic. Their commitment is truly a promise towards their own growth, to their own spiritual survival and enhancement, and not to their physical. The archetype of spiritual partnership is new to the human experience because there is not yet a social convention for spiritual partnerships. Spiritual partners may decide that the convention of marriage, reinterpreted to meet their needs, is the most appropriate physical expression of their bond. These souls infuse the archetype of marriage with the energy of the archetype of spiritual partnership, as do marriage partners who have discovered in their togetherness that their bond is actually one of commitment to mutual spiritual growth rather than to physical survival or security or comfort. Just as external power is no longer appropriate to our evolution, the archetype of marriage is no longer appropriate. This does not mean that the institution of marriage will disappear overnight. Marriages will continue to exist, but marriages that succeed will only succeed with the consciousness of spiritual partnership. The partners in these marriages contribute through their participation in them to the archetype of spiritual partnership. When you bring the consciousness of your soul to your intention setting process, when you choose to align yourself with your soul instead of your personality, you create a reality that reflects your soul rather than your personality. When you look upon the experiences of your life as karmic necessities, when you reach to your experiences as the products of an impersonal energy dynamic rather than the products of particular interactions, you bring the wisdom of your soul into your reality. When you choose to respond to life difficulties with compassion and love, instead of fear and doubt, you create a heaven on earth for you to experience. That's what I'll be experiencing, all right? Heaven on earth. Challenges and whatnot. I get through them, baby. I get through them because I'm approaching all of them with compassion and love. And what must be let go must be let go. And you just move forward. Back to the book, though. You bring the aspect of a more balanced and harmonious level of reality into physical being. The introduction of consciousness into the cycle processes of creation at the point of intention and at the point of reaction allows choice. It permits the selection of alternatives. It brings consciousness to the process of evolution. Your intention and attention shapes your experiences. What you intend through the density of matter, through the densest level of light, becomes your reality. Where your attention goes, you go. If you attend to the negative aspects of life, if you choose to focus your attention on the weaknesses of others, on their faults and shortcomings, you draw to yourself The lower frequency energy currents of disdain, anger, hatred. You put distance between yourself and others. You create obstacles to your loving. Your energy and influence move slowly through the realm of your personality, the arena of time and space and matter. If you direct your energy into the criticism of others with the intention to disempower them, you create negative karma for yourself. If you choose to focus your intentions on the strengths of others, on the virtues of others, on the parts of others that strive for the highest, you run through your system the higher frequency currents of appreciation, acceptance, and love. Your energy and influence radiate instantaneously from soul to soul. You become an effective instrument of constructive change. If your intention is to align your personality with your soul, and if you focus your attention upon those perceptions that bring to you in each situation the highest frequency currents of energy, you move towards authentic empowerment. As you come to recognize the power of your consciousness and what is between your eyes, so to speak, holds more power than what appears in front of them, your inner and outer perceptions change. You cannot become compassionate with yourself without becoming compassionate with others, or with others without becoming compassionate with yourself. When you are compassionate with yourself and others, your world becomes compassionate. You draw to yourself other souls of like frequency, and with them you create, through your intentions and your actions and your interactions, a compassionate world. As you come to seek and see the virtues and strengths and nobilities of others, you begin to seek and see them also in yourself. As you draw to yourself the highest frequency currents of each situation, you radiate that frequency of consciousness and you change the situation. You become more and more and more consciously a being of light. To become aware of the relationship between your consciousness and the physical reality is to become aware of the law of karma and to see it in action. What you intend is what you become. If you intend to take as much from life and others as you can, if your thoughts are of taking instead of giving, you create a reality that reflects your intentions. You draw to yourself souls of like frequency, and together you create a taking reality. Your experiences then reflect your own orientation and validate it. You see the people around you as personalities who take rather than personalities who give. You do not trust them and they do not trust you. The creative dynamic of intention, the relationship between intention and experience, underlies quantum physics, our species' most profound attempt to comprehend physical phenomena from the perspective of the five sensory personality. Quantum physics was born of an intense and cumulative effort to understand the nature of physical light. It is possible to build a device that reveals the wave-like nature of light, that causes light to produce phenomena that can only be produced by waves. It is also possible to make a device that detects particles of light as though they were tiny pellets, and to measure the force of the impact of each particle. Yet, it is not possible for light to be described as a wave phenomena and a particle phenomena at the same time. In other words, it's not possible to describe the nature of light literally, the shape of physical light, apart from the experimental apparatus that is used to determine it. And this depends upon the intention of the experimenter. The scientific accomplishments of our species reflect our awareness as a species of non-physical dynamics as they unfold within the arena of matter and time. Within the realm of the five sensory personality, the dependency of the form of physical light upon the intention of the experimenter reflects in a limited but accurate manner the dependency of the form of non-physical light upon the intentions of the soul that shapes it, just as the nature of physical light itself reflects in a limited but essential accurate way the nature of the light of the universe. The creation of physical experience through intention, the infusion of light into form, energy into matter, soul into body, are all the same. The distance between you and your understanding of the creation of matter from energy is equal to the distance that exists between your awareness of your personality and the energy of your soul. The dynamic of soul and personality is the same dynamic as energy converting into matter. The system is identical. Your body is your conscious matter. Your personality is the energy of your soul converted into matter. If it is unaware, it is then the splinteredness that is transmuted. If it is aware, it begins to become whole. The dynamic of soul to personality, energy to matter, lies at the heart of our creation. Mythology, the story of paradise. Are you not metaphorically within a Garden of Eden, so to speak? Your own created reality, within which you choose each day how you will create your reality with how you think, with the words you say, with where you put your intentions at, where you put your attention at. You have the male-female principle inside of you, the Adam and Eve principle. And the tree represents, those are metaphors, the tree represents your personal energy system, your own cord of knowledge. How will you use your power? Will you create paradise? That's that's my choice. Baby, 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 I choose the baby, baby. I intend to create, baby, baby, with my thoughts and my words, baby. I intend to create paradise. Look at everything nice. Or will you be cast out, as it were? The challenge to each human is creation. Will you create with reverence or with neglect? I have made my choice. I am choosing with reverence. I am creating paradise. I see it reflected, and it doesn't mean, people, that there are not challenges, but it means that I choose to be mindful how I approach each challenge. Each one. And I've had some humongous ones. So I can stand in my natural authority and say that I've experienced the application of this truth that I just expressed in this chapter that I just read from this book. The truth that we each have the power to choose and create in our lives based on how we give our attention, based on where we come from. Are we coming from a space of doubt? Are we coming from a space of fear? Or are we coming from a space of love? Are we coming from a space of compassion? That makes a difference on every individual experience. So it could be the same challenge, but it can be experienced different depending on how the individuals are choosing to deal with the challenge. And it goes even deeper, because sometimes, not even sometimes, I had an experience this last week. I went to go patron a Black business I had never been in before. I'm recovering right now physically. I have injuries to my legs. It is challenging for me to sit. It is challenging for me to walk. It is challenging for me to move, because the muscles, this is why I have these things behind me, because I had to study and learn how the muscles operate. because I needed to know. And the doctors wasn't really giving me much information outside the fact that they wanted to cut me open. But let me get close so I can show you exactly where my challenging areas are, world. My challenging areas are here. Can you see? Hold up, let me flip the camera around because it's hard for me to be pointing and flip the camera. Let's flip the camera. Okay, so these muscles, all these freaking muscles that I didn't even know the name of them about a year ago, but all these muscles in here, these muscles here, these muscles here, these muscles basically atrophied. And I don't know if you're familiar with atrophy, but atrophy means the muscles getting smaller and it ain't functioning. So I have to work on strengthening these muscles so that moving is not painful. And they were injured. This right here, these are the bones. I have metal in the head of each hip bone from my very first major injury. Let me flip this back around. And then don't even get me involved with the nerves, okay? Because that's a whole nother thing. Because imagine, you see how these nerves are? They go through the muscles. So imagine a muscle is getting tight and it's getting smaller. What do you think it's doing to the nerves that's going through it? It's squeezing the shit out of those motherfuckers, okay? It's squeezing the shit. So pain, I'm laughing, but it ain't funny. It's just, I'm laughing because I know the body heals. I know the body heals with the proper nutrition, with the proper exercise. I know the body repairs itself. So that's the only reason why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because the pain feels good. But I know that it's temporary. I don't know how long it's temporary. Because Jesus my gracious. But I know it's healing. And I know it's getting better. And however long it is, I'm committed to fully recovering physically so that I can move and operate more freely. And it doesn't look, I mean, nobody has x-ray vision. You don't know looking at me that I have metal in my body, that there was muscles that I'm just reactivating that have been atrophying for years, and now they're just reactivated. But that doesn't mean reactivated means instantly strong as fuck. It means it's gonna take time for them to strengthen up, you know? So stairs are an issue for me. Stairs are not an easy task for me. And some people are not able to walk at all. And from my knowledge as an entrepreneur, when you open up a business to the public, you have to be able to serve all of the public, including those who cannot physically walk. And that is why there is the ADA, American Disability Association, to protect the rights of people that got disabilities and to hold accountable businesses. So I go into this place of business after a long day of school and shenanigans with my 26-year-old. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And I want to go to the rooftop. You know, I'm excited. I've seen this place. I've walked past it before outside. I'm like, okay, it look kind of cute. I Googled them. I see what it looked like, you know, on online. I'm like, oh, this seems nice. Okay. So I go in there and I'm like, it's just me, you know, and I'm like, you know, I'm happy, tired, but happy still, you know. And I asked them, like, where's the elevator? And they're like, oh, there is no elevator. You have to walk to the rooftop. So I left. And then I said, something in my consciousness said, that can't be true. Like, how are they functioning as a business that the rooftop is a part that's supposed to be open to the public, but there's no way if you have a disability to get up to there. So I was like, let me talk to the manager, because maybe the bus girl doesn't know, you know? And maybe there has to be somebody escorted and yada, yada, yada. Maybe there's a way, you know? So I waited patiently for the manager. I started doing a live on my YouTube channel. I'm doing the live. The manager comes up from behind me. Interesting. This is a very key thing to remember. She comes up from behind me. So if you walk in from behind a person and you can see that a person is doing a live if you pay any freak attention. I would be paying attention as a manager if I'm coming up to talk to a patron. Okay. She didn't walk from in front of me. Walking from in front of me, you won't know. You can't look through the phone. But coming from behind me, you can see my screen. You can see my screen. You can see with lives, there's other stuff that's happening inside of the camera. So you know it's not just the camera and just somebody just doing a plain recording. You can see like you see here. YouTube doesn't look the same, but YouTube gives you notice that it's a YouTube live. You can see that. And when she comes, I put the phone down like this. Because I have the camera directly on me. She came like from this way. Meaning she had sight, but I didn't catch her. I didn't catch her in the camera. The music was on. You couldn't even hear the conversation. I asked her a simple question. Are you guys not ADA compliant? She said, unfortunately, we don't have an elevator to go up to the rooftop right now. Apologize. I said, okay. Have a good day. I got up, I had my book bag with me. I went to get my book bag. I went to push my chair in. I picked up my phone and I continued the live. I never stopped the live. So I'm walking out the door, or attempting to walk out the door, with myself talking to my audience. And this woman gets in front of the door and says, "Oh no, I don't feel comfortable with you leaving because you were recording me." And I said, "I wasn't recording you. I'm talking on my live, ma'am." And I published this. I published the live, so you could see and then you could hear her, whatever. She's like, "I'm calling the police," and da da da. And this was a black woman. This was not even a white woman. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. She was different, But the whole point is how I approached it, how I responded. I came from a space of love. I came from a space of compassion. Even though she was dead as wrong. Even though she could have stepped in front of somebody else and they could have responded a whole different way. Who are you standing in front of? What are you talking about? It could have went a whole nother way if it was another person she interacted with. But because she interacted with me, a person who chooses to what? I'm creating paradise in my life. I don't give a crap about anything external that seems to be challenging. I'm still choosing to create paradise. I'm still choosing to come from a space of compassion. I'm still choosing to come from a space of love. And even though I'm a human being and I go through different emotions just like any other human being, I choose. If I stay in this negative emotion, is that going to benefit me? No, even if it logically makes sense. Am I going to benefit myself? I'm healing my body. I don't need to be sending my muscles or my nerves signals of distress. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to feel, acknowledge, release. If it comes back, do the same. That's my process. That's my process. Feel, release. Feel, release. Feel, deal, release. Feel, deal, release. Feel, deal, release. I'm not carrying it. I'm not carrying it. I'm not coming from a space of fear, doubt. No. I'm going to come from clarity, love, compassion, and forgiveness. And here's one thing I learned about forgiveness. You could forgive people and not talk to them any goddamn no more. I forgave that lady in that place, that manager. I don't know her, but I forgave her. I had to release myself. I couldn't be like, walk and carry that negativity. I had to release it. I published it. I watched it the next day. I vented. I celebrated my growth. Because whoa, have I grown? And I'm excited. I'm excited because I know that where I am now is not where I'm going to always be. I know that I'm going to continuously grow as I apply these lessons. And the fact that I come and I share this knowledge. This is not new knowledge to me. Now, this is my first time reading this book completely. But this is not new knowledge to me. This is stuff that has come to me repetitively in so many ways and means and forms. And if you listen to my good brother, Michael Beckwith, you definitely will hear him speak on these things, okay? And the way I engaged with Agape today, though. Agape International Spiritual Center is the name of Brother Michael Beckwith's spiritual center. He's a reverend there. He's just a wonderful spiritual leader. And it's been some time. And today I reminisced. Today I reminisced to the 20, I think I was about 23, maybe 24. About 23, 24-year-old me in a fudged up marriage, an abusive marriage with 2 small kids, coming from foster care, dealing with poverty, and seeing him speak for the first time when he had dreadlocks still, and just, he planted a seed. He definitely planted a seed of truth. There was other people too. There was Abraham Hicks. Everybody, they created a disc called The Secret. I know you're familiar with it. It was Michael Beckwith, Abraham Hicks. What was the other 2 people? I want to say Ayala Vance, Lisa Nichols, perhaps Lisa Nichols. Maybe it wasn't Ayala Vance. I think it was Lisa Nichols. It was four different instructors, spiritual leaders, and I went deep into each one of their teachings, and here I am, in a very healthy relationship with myself, healing, overcame every challenge that ever came my way, and evolving and becoming a better me. And it's not because, oh, I had these loving parents. No, what's that? It's not because, oh, I had so much money. No. I still get food stamps, people. Okay, I don't take this joy as she's rich. Yes, I'm wealthy in character, and I'm wealthy in talent, and I'm in school right now. I'm back in college right now at the age of 42, but the reason why I have a happy, healthy life, the reason why my life is the way it is in light of challenges, is because of my choices, because of my intention, because of the work that I do on a consistent basis with myself. Where I put my attention at, how I look, how I choose to look, no matter what. I don't give a fuck. And I could see somebody, and I'm gonna just speak real. I could see a motherfucker or feel a motherfucker trying to fucking play me. But I'm still gonna look at them with compassion. I'm still gonna come at them with compassion. And I'm gonna give them the opportunity to decide whether they're gonna still try to bullshit or whether they really gonna check themselves. Because I don't need to check you. I'm not in that business. That's not the business I'm in. I'm in the business of checking myself. I'm in the business of looking at myself, looking in the mirror. Bitch, what you doing? No, cut it out. And I know you may say, oh, well, how can you be so positive but then call yourself a bitch? Listen, I ain't calling myself a bitch to put myself down. I'm calling myself that for that moment because I'm self-correcting. And as I self-correct and check myself, then I'm going to correct my motherfucking behavior. I'm doing too much. I could say, what are you doing? I had a situation where I put all this time into a project without getting nothing. And I was like, okay, I got to check myself. Hold up. Evaluate myself. Me. I shouldn't have did that. My bad. We gotta have a conversation. And the person, I don't know how they took it. I just know they waited a bit to respond, and then when they did respond, I think they felt like it was personal. And this is not personal. This is business. I fucked up. You ain't supposed to go into no business arrangement and there ain't no exchange of no funds, and you put in hours, and then now you expected to put in more hours before. No, that ain't how it work. That ain't how it work. That ain't how it works. I check myself, correct myself, and then go forward, and realize, okay, well, there'll be other opportunities. If this person decides to accept the fact that I've checked myself and corrected myself and decides to work with me and renegotiate, then cool. If they decide not to, cool. I know better next time to go in better and not just go in so generous, like, oh, let me just give, and then I'm giving, and I'm like, wait a Wait a minute. Wait a second. Let me consult with some people who are already experienced here, who already have done this. This how you do this? They like, that ain't how you do it. That is not how you do it. So I check myself, correct myself, and now I know. Now I know how to do it. Don't just go with passion. It's good to have passion when you're dealing with business. Everything I do is going to come from my soul anyway, because my divinity is what governs my life. So that's how I move. But I still have to be conscious of how the business aspect works. Yes, come from that space, but also apply the other dynamics that are crucial when you're dealing with a business arrangement. So I share that to share with you that, yes, you're going to see me smiling. Yes, you're going to see me happy. Yes, you're going to see me promoting positivity. This is how I live my life. Doesn't mean that there's no challenges. It's just I approach challenges different. I get through them. I let them go. I use them as a learning lesson. I learn from them. I value what I've learned. I value the good. And I release anything that's not going to be good and positive and uplifting. That's how I operate. It's working. It's clearly freaking working. The proof in that black business was proof that it's working. So I'm excited. I'm gonna keep doing the shit. And when you see me doing flips and stuff, cause y'all see my little two-step. Y'all see my little two-step. So this body getting better and better, baby. So this time next year, I don't know if I'm gonna be doing a flip, but I'm gonna at least be hoping to do a split, sucky, or even a deep squat. Like, I am happy getting in a deep squat. This deep squat you see the yogis get into, and they lower their tailbone all the way to the ground. That's my goal. And before my injuries, I was very, 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 very athletic. I was the girl on the monkey bars doing all type of stuff, flips, and the slide. You climb up on the slide, and the slide have like the little pole there. I would flip up there, like I that athletic ability is returning. I'm healing. And I'm working on it. So with that being said, I'm going to get to my collard greens, okay? And y'all want to see my plants? Let me show y'all my plants right quick that I got from the farmer's market that I planted and that are now growing and flourishing. This is how life goes. You plant the seeds, you water it, and you allow the growth. So thank you for tuning into the Super T podcast. This was Soulful Sunday. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel. And I wish everybody has a good, wonderful week. Tune in next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go into the next chapter together.